Hi, this is Billie Beene here with a World News Flash Update. Today's date, June 17, 2024, time about 5 p.m. in Texas. This is World Episode 175. Some of the things we'll be covering: Eve of Destruction and the Peace Meeting, Nukes and the CZR, and the Red Sea. And I'll begin. Have you heard the song by Barry McGuire, Eve of Destruction? You're not old enough for voting, but what's that gun you're toting? And I believe we could be on the brink of something really hot. So let's get started. I have a Patriot subscriber. Yeah, she added some more information to her information about containers in Nokomis, Florida. There's a plethora of trailers without engines, cargo trailers, 75 to 100 of them parked at the end of the parking lot of a Walmart. And as I brought up before, Walmarts were part of the CIA underground tunnel system, as is emblematic of most of the big box store systems. They were put in by the CIA to connect underground tunnels. It could be for the purpose of moving U.S. military around, possibly for martial law, or it could be for other purposes. And so I know about Walmart. Okay, so we have 75 to 100 of these semi-trailers parked at a Walmart in Nokomis, Florida. They're near 75 between Sarasota and Venice in Nokomis, Florida. And so that's going on. Have a Patriot subscriber. Well, they're starting it early, talking about the hurricane season. They referring to the deep state, because normally in Florida the hurricane season starts in September. I agree. Now I had some information from Pamela SUEFFERT. She and her mother are both descendants of the Pilgrims, and both have had dreams and visions. And she's talking about seeing earthquakes on the West Coast and water up to Nevada. I guess that would be from the West Coast. She and her mother she gave portions of both she and her mother's dreams and visions. New York City was taken down. I saw a building collapsed. And I saw tunnels underneath the Hudson collapsed. I saw missiles hitting New York City. I saw a great earthquake. And I saw in this area of the U.S., in Tennessee and Virginia and West North Carolina, mountain ridges, the Smokies, the Blue Ridge, and underneath these mountains are certain rituals carried out, and she saw them collapse and be on fire. So I had another Patriot subscriber talking about Martin Armstrong with his predictive Socrates software. We're supposed to be in the panic cycle now. Therefore, it's likely this could be a time of war in August and September. So we'll see. It's good to have truth on our table. That way we know what to pray for and against. I have another Patriot subscriber talking about Russia. Russia having, warships and a sub near Cuba. No fear, my wife and I belong to Jesus. If they hit us at ground zero, it's just like the rapture. My kind of folks. Okay, currently in the U.S., we know that near Cuba, we have a Russian warship, the Admiral Gorshkov, some supporting vessels. We have a nuclear-powered sub, the Kazan, which is a Yasin M-type sub. On the other side of Cuba, we have the USS Helena, fast attack sub, and we have all kinds of planes in the air and other ships from both the U.S. and Canada, keeping an eye on the Russians. Along the East Coast, we have 11 Russian subs. Along the West Coast, from Hawaii to Alaska and Guam, we have 27 Russian subs. What could go wrong? Okay, Ward Carroll came out with a good video showing the ships that are in Cuba, so I'll try to link that for you. CRUX is bringing out that Vietnam welcomes Russia and Russian ships, and Vietnam did not attend the peace meeting. So that's going on. Now from PEPE ESCOBAR. He's an independent journalist now living in Russia. Russia believes the U.S. and NATO will use tactical nukes, and Russia will respond in kind. Russia took NATO's taking down of 2 of Russia's early nuke detection radars as a probe in, and so Russia believes that NATO prepares to nuke Russia, and Russia's going to respond in kind, or if they have enough intel, they may do a preemptive strike. So Russia and Cuba, PEPE ESCOBAR, they do not carry nukes, but they do carry the zircons that can reach anywhere in the U.S. and into Canada. And we've had the U.S. fleet in the Black Sea, that would be this area, since 2007. With regard to the Ukraine war, Shoigu, the former Minister of Defense of Russia, said in November of 2025, he expects the war to last. He believes now the economy in Russia is on a war footing. And PEPE ESCOBAR brings this out, that the U.S. and NATO could possibly bring about a false flag this summer. You know, to get the American people on board with dedicating the lives of their sons and daughters to the blood altar of NATO's war, like that. That was a recent interview of PEPE ESCOBAR by Judge Napolitano. Okay, we have this. This happened over the weekend. Russia in the next few hours will deliver an ultimatum to NATO. We know that there was a so-called peace meeting in Switzerland. Many nations attended, many abstained from voting, and Russia was not invited. Imagine that, a peace meeting between Ukraine and Russia, but Russia's not invited. I submit it really wasn't a peace meeting. I submit it was a meeting to get as many nations on board with going forward with what I believe will be the use of tactical nukes by NATO. And Russia expects rejection of the peace terms that Russia put forth. And that did happen. We have NATO, an unelected body, coming out on behalf of nations whose people do elect their leaders. But NATO, unelected, said no. NATO rejects the peace deal. And I think the peace deal was these parts of Ukraine where the people had voted to join Russia would remain Russian. But now, what we currently have, so NATO said no. What we currently have along this front line, approximately 1,000 miles long, we have 800,000 Russians. We have 300,000 mobilized and ready to go. We have, which will make a total of over 800,000, 3,000, yeah. And so North Korea is giving Russia, not giving, they're probably selling 500,000 ammo. Currently in China, Russia is training with the Chinese to teach them trench warfare. And soon, Russia and China together will take Taiwan. So that's going on. And now we have this from Hal Turner. The so-called peace meeting over the weekend in Switzerland. Duda, the president of Poland, proposed breaking Russia into 200 ethnic states. Many nations at the meeting said there was no peace without Russia being present. And it appears that NATO pushes war, as I said. Now we have this from Peter the Insider, director of the 12th Division of the ACIO, based in Pine Gap, Australia, who interfaces with the U.S. government, NSA, that in Czechoslovakia, supposedly hidden in an atomic museum, are 3 nukes that are going active. So that's going on. And we also have this new deal. This is between Israel. Israel's invested, but it was between the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Austria, Poland, Hungary, where they had tested 3 nukes on atolls, a small island in the Pacific Ocean controlled by the U.S. This testing of these 3 nukes happened recently. Yeah. And we have declining to sign the peace agreement, India, North Korea, and Iran. Now we have this. The U.S. has tactical nukes. We know they have them in Italy, Turkey, Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands. Supposedly, these are tactical nukes, not the strategic nukes would be the big ones. And now the U.S. and NATO have gone on a permanent, in this area, combat nuclear alert in response to what Russia did over the weekend, activating on a combat nuclear alert Russian forces from the Arctic down to the Baltic Sea in this area. And we have the UK deploying 40 tactical nukes. We have the US deploying 100 tactical nukes, and they would be going to this area. And zero hedge. Now we're talking about the Middle East. So I'll draw a new map here. I believe it is important to keep up also with the Middle East. We have Israel, Gaza, Syria, Egypt, Libya. We have the Suez Canal in Egypt. We have Russian forces now training at their naval base, Tartus. And we also have a Russian Air Force base, Latakia. That's in Syria. So we've got these activated. We've got the Russian forces activated in Tobruk, Libya, and in the Mediterranean Sea, near the Suez Canal, and in Syria. So we see Russian forces on both sides of Israel. So that's going on. Now, we have Saudi Arabia, Oman, Yemen. In the Red Sea, the Houthis are still attacking ships. The U.S. Navy rescued crew members from a cargo ship that was the Tudor that the Houthis took down with missiles. And we also have another ship, the BBeene. It's a UK-operated ship, cargo vessel, also hit with 2 anti-ship missiles, and this just happened in the last 3 to 4 days. And we have Russian and Chinese ships are free to pass through the Red Sea via an agreement with Iran, who controls the Houthis. And we had the Tudor, a Greek-owned cargo ship. The U.S. Navy rescued their crew. And there was 1 death. And another ship was also hit, a cargo ship, a few days earlier. And in Singapore, they have a 2 million pileup of containers. So we see shipping, global shipping impacted. Now we have this from War News. Russia warships practice Suez Canal, Tobruk, Libya, Alexandria, Egypt, and also in Syria. So yeah. And it's believed they also have, it appears that Russia has gone and loaded their ships and planes and so on with tactical nukes. It appears that NATO has also done so. So, as I'll link the song Barry McGuire's Eve of Destruction. So this concludes my flash. It's good to prep and pray. I love you, and I'll see you soon.